This is The River by Laura Vinogradova, translated from Latvian by Kaja Straumanis. I read this book yesterday in the back of a car while I was on a family road trip. This did not last the whole trip. Luckily, I brought a couple other books with me that I was already in the middle of, because this one only took about an hour to read, but I enjoyed it immensely. This is a book about grief and how grief can affect you in the long term, like for years and years and years, but it's also a story about kind of recovering and moving on from that. And it's also a story about human connection and making human connections even when you're kind of hesitant to and kind of closed off in some ways, and how sometimes you're almost the how do I put this? I don't know. So our main character is a woman whose sister was her sister disappears, and nobody knows whether she's dead or alive. We actually see the incident from the sister's point of view in the prologue, and it's pretty heavily implied that she is dead, but her family doesn't know that. And then the bulk of the story takes place about a decade later. So this woman, the main character, whose sister has been missing for 10 years, she and her sister, I should say their names so I can just stop saying she. So our two sisters are named Dina and Ruta. Dina is the sister who disappears. Ruta is the sister who is the main character. And so about 10 years after Dina's disappearance, Ruta inherits their father's home in the countryside next to a river, hence the title. They never knew their father. Their mother was with a couple of different people while they were growing up, and they moved around a lot, but they never knew the man who was their biological father. But she inherits his house, and then she decides sort of on a whim to spend a couple months living in the house without really telling anybody who is involved in her life back in the city. She just goes out to this house in the countryside and she lives there. And most of the story is about like her kind of forming a friendly neighbor relationship with the people who live next door to this house in the countryside on the river. And she learns a little bit about her father through them and through some other people in the area. But then she also has a life back in the city and a husband who she's been kind of emotionally distant from, and she has to find a way to repair that relationship as well. So we kind of go on this journey with her of like learning how to open up emotionally, and I found that very compelling. The characters in here are very compelling as well and very likable. It's a book that deals with a lot of very sad and dark subject matter, but it's ultimately, I think, a very heartwarming book, and I didn't feel sad while reading it, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's very short. I read it in about an hour. It's like 100 pages, 108, I think, and then there's like 10 or so pages of illustrations of some of the characters. Oh, hello. My cat's making an appearance. I can't be in this room, my basement office, for more than like a minute before she notices. This is kind of her domain, and she's excited whenever I hang out down here. Yes, hello. So yeah, I really liked this. The author has a couple of other books. I don't know if they're available in English. And this translator has translated some other Latvian novels, but I don't think any of them are by this author. So I don't know if there's more like this out there available to me in English, but if it is, I'm going to find it, because I really liked this one. This was part of a purchase I made for Women in Translation Month. I'm gonna have a video kind of going through all the books that I bought for various different sales for Women in Translation Month. And this video is probably going to come out after that, even though I'm filming it before that. So, yeah, The River by Vinogradova. Great book.